Hello everyone, welcome to Mengyuan's Chinese classroom. Today we are going to learn lesson 2, 我叫李文. In English, that means my name is Li Wen. Today's lesson is very practical and very important because after learning this lesson, you will be able to do some very basic communication in Chinese. You can ask someone's name, introduce your own name, and understand a simple, polite classroom conversation. So if you are a beginner, don't worry. This lesson is friendly, useful, and easy to follow. Let's learn together step by step. Before we start, let's look at the objectives of this lesson. Objective E, you will be able to understand other people's self-introductions and introduce yourself using a Chinese name. That means you can say things like 我叫, my name is. Objective R, you will be able to understand and use polite expressions, especially simple expressions in conversation. In this lesson, one important polite phrase is 请问. It is a very polite way to ask a question. Objective San, you will begin to understand the basic word order in Chinese. Chinese word order is often very clear and direct. When you understand the pattern, it becomes much easier to speak. Objective Sit, you will also understand the structure of Chinese names. This is very interesting because Chinese names are usually different from English names in order. So after this lesson, you will be able to do a small but real conversation in Chinese. And yes, that means you are already starting to communicate in Chinese in a real-life way. That is amazing. Keep going. You are doing a great job. And after you finish this lesson, I want to encourage you to choose a Chinese name for yourself. You can write your Chinese name in the comments below. I would love to see it. Now, let's look at the first picture. In this picture, we can see a classroom. There is a teacher, and there are several students sitting at their desks. The teacher is talking to the students, so this is a very natural classroom situation. The Chinese sentence says, 在教室里，王一飞在认识学生. Let's understand it. 在教室里等于 in the classroom. 王一飞等于 Wang Yefei, the teacher's name. 在认识学生等于 is getting to know the students. So together, it means Wang Yefei is getting to know the students in the classroom. This is a very common situation in real life. For example, on the first day of class, when you meet new classmates, or when a teacher wants to know everyone's name. So today's Chinese is not only textbook Chinese, it is also real-life Chinese. Now, let's move to the second picture. Here we see a short dialogue. This dialogue is between Wang Yifei and Chen Tianzhong. Let's read the first sentence. 请问你叫什么名字? In English, this means, may I ask, what's your name? Now let's break it down slowly. 一,请问. 请问 is a very polite expression. It is often used before asking a question. It's like saying, excuse me, or may I ask? So it makes your question sound softer and more polite. 二,你 means you. 三,叫什么? 叫 means to be called. 什么 means what. So 叫什么 literally means be called what. 四, meanses. Meanses means name. So the whole sentence, 请问你叫什么名字? means, may I ask, what's your name? Now let's look at the answer. 我叫陈天中. This means, my name is Chen Tianzhong. Let's break it down too. 我等于 I 除以 me. 叫等于 am, called, per, am, named. 陈天中等于 the person's name. So literally, it means I am called Chen Tianzhong. Very simple, very useful, and very natural. Now, let's understand these two sentences together. Sentence 一, 请问你叫什么名字? Equals May I ask what's your name? This is the sentence you use when you want to ask someone's name politely. Sentence 2. 我叫陈天中 equals my name is Chen Tianzhong. This is the sentence you use to introduce your own name. So with only these 2 sentences, you can already start a very basic conversation in Chinese. For example, A. 请问你叫什么名字? B. 我叫 Anna. A. 请问你叫什么名字? B. 我叫 David. So you can replace the Chinese name with your own name or your Chinese name. That's why this lesson is so useful. You are learning something you can use immediately. Now, let's look at the key words in this dialogue. 1. 请问 meaning, excuse me, may I ask? This is a polite expression. You use it before asking a question. It shows respect and good manners. For example, 请问你叫什么名字? May I ask, what's your name? So remember, 请问 is polite. It is a good expression to use. 2. 你 meaning you. This is the singular form of you. When you talk to one person, you can use 你. Example, 你叫什么名字? What's your name? 3. 叫 meaning to be called. This is a very useful verb in Chinese. When you want to say your name, you can use 叫. For example, 我叫李文. My name is Li Wen. So instead of saying my name is, in Chinese we often say I am called. That is 我叫是什么 meaning what. This is a question word. Whenever you want to ask what, you can often use 什么. Example, 你叫什么名字? What is your name? 5. 名字 meaning name. Very important word. If you want to talk about names, this is the word you need. Example, 名字等于 name. 6. 我 meaning I, cui, me. This is one of the most basic Chinese words. When you talk about yourself, you use 我. Example, 我叫 my name is. Now let's read the dialogue together. I will read the first line, then you repeat, then we do the second line. Line 1, 请问你叫什么名字? Line 2, 我叫陈天中. One more time. 请问你叫什么名字? 我叫陈天中. Wonderful. Now you are already speaking a real Chinese dialogue. That is progress. Be proud of yourself. Before we finish, let's learn one small cultural point. Chinese names usually have this order. Family name first, given name second. For example, Chen Tianzhong. Chen is the family name. Tianzhong is the given name. This is different from English, because in English, people usually say the given name first and the family name last. So when you learn Chinese names, remember, surname first, given name second. That is an important part of understanding Chinese introductions. So today, you learned how to ask someone's name politely, how to say your own name, some important beginner words, and a little about Chinese name structure. That is a very good start. Even if today's lesson is short, it is extremely useful because language learning begins with simple communication. And now you can already do that in Chinese. So keep going. Don't be afraid of speaking slowly. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Every sentence you say is progress. Every repetition makes you stronger. You are learning Chinese step by step, and that really matters. After this lesson, I want to invite you to do something fun. Give yourself a Chinese name. You can write it in the comments below like this. 我叫, for example, 我叫安娜, or 我叫大卫. I'd love to see your Chinese names in the comments. Thank you for learning with me today. If you enjoyed this lesson, please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to write your Chinese name in the comments below. See you in the next lesson of Mengyuan's Chinese classroom. Bye bye.